So I can actually go in and bring up that advanced editor. In here, I'll go ahead and say View Advanced Editor. And I've got just a few columns here. Let me go ahead and grab one that I've made before and paste some of that information within here. So I've got a much richer set of actions to take. As soon as I paste those actions in, you'll notice it includes all of the steps that I have here on the right-hand side through the part of the process, and then it begins to query the information. Why is that important? Well, when you think about some of the steps that you do as a data governance person, those steps that occur at the beginning, you're going to want to filter as rapidly as possible. Rather than doing lots of processing on your end of changing column names and the like, any good data analysis begins with filtering it down to just the information you need. So in this case, I've gone through and filtered the rows as one of my first items to filter it by certain types. Then I've removed the columns that I don't need because I don't need to be pulling that data through my query. The end result is a much more tightly focused query, and this looks like what you would expect from a CRM system. I've got the name of the customer, I've got an opportunity description, the salesperson, what stage it's in, when it's going to close, and the value. So at this point, I can go ahead and load this up. And I'll say, hey, do you want to load this here? I'm going to put it in a new worksheet because I don't want to overwrite my energy worksheet. And what it will go and do is actually start to put a sample of the information. You can see it's got the preview information here, these 83 rows. While it's doing that, it's actually on the back end going through and grabbing the latest data to be able to provide up-to-date data to allow me to make changes to it. Now, this is a traditional table. So you can tell I've got the ability to sort by items. I can choose specific dates. I can look in specific months, let's say. Let's say I only want to look at this particular date in October. I can get that filter right out of the gate. Now, the ability to do this means that I can get a lot more insights than I otherwise would be able to do. Let's go ahead and put all the data back in. What I'm going to do here is a traditional pivot chart to be able to show up what that data actually looks like. I've got rich data here, and this is what many data analysts get to, is they've got it now in a massaged, ready-to-consume format. Now they're ready to get some insights. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and as you can see, I've got some data in here. I'm going to pull some information into this pivot table right here. I've got some values. I'm going to go ahead and choose my customers, and let's go ahead and throw on my salespeople. Great. So I'm able now, with just a few button clicks, to get some rich information about the types of contracts I have out there and what customers they're for. If I notice here it's a little busy, I've got a lot of customers listed down here that's not perhaps as useful. I'm going to swap that with my legends, and then I can see, oh, this is much easier for me to see. I can actually tell who's doing a good job, who's doing a bad job, and where that information is contained. I can now, if I want to, take those insights and actually apply some filtering within it. So if you notice that I've got a close month that's able for me to filter on, or perhaps I want to close it based on the probability. So those slicing and dicing that can take place here, if I select the close probability, rather than saying all, I might want to move just to the 80% range and actually get insight there. And as soon as you do that, you can see that one of the individuals here, Kelly, is doing much better at that 80% close range. So she's got a lot of stuff that's in that ready to go to the final stage. If I flip back and say, okay, you know what, I want to be able to look at all of the items that are perhaps 80 or 100 or 60, I'll get a better view for things that are a little bit further along, but not all the way there. And I can tell that Allie's got a bunch of stuff that's in that earlier stage process. Those sorts of insights are great to get with a few button clicks.